Hi guys, your Friendtor Gopika is here, and in this video we will discuss congruent arcs. Okay, so before getting into the topic, we will discuss the definition of arc, what is meant by an arc of a circle, then how to find the measure of an arc, and then we will deal with the concept of congruent arcs. Okay, so without wasting time, let's get started. First, arc of a circle. So first we will choose the pointer. Okay, so if you see this particular diagram, this is a circle with center C and points A, X, B and Y lie on the circle. Okay, and the line K is a secant. Fine. Now if you observe, this particular secant is dividing the circle to two parts. One part is the upper part, that is AYB, and the lower part is AXB. These two small parts are called arcs of the circle. Okay, pieces of a circle are called as arcs. Now these two parts and the common points of the circle and the secant constitute an arc of the circle. The points of intersection of circle and secant are called the endpoints of the arcs. Now here in the particular in the upper arc, A and B are the endpoints. In the lower arc also, A and B are the endpoints. Okay, so in arc AYB, AB are the endpoints, and in arc AXB also, A and B are the endpoints. So if the center of a circle is on one side of the secant, that means, now here if you observe, this line K is the secant and center C is towards its right or towards the north side. Now the part where the center lies, corresponding arc will be the major arc. If you see, this AYB is the bigger piece of the circle, so it is major arc, and the smaller piece, which is AXB, is called as minor arc. So if you have a secant towards which the center lies, that particular arc is the major arc, and the other one, the smaller one, is called as the minor arc. Okay, now let's see how to find the measure of an arc. Okay, now as you saw, a secant can divide the circle into two arcs or two parts. Similarly, if you see this central angle means an angle whose vertex is at the center of the circle. Now here this particular angle AOB, O is the vertex of the angle and O is the center of the circle, and hence this angle can be called as central angle. Now when we draw a central angle, again you get two arcs. One is the smaller arc, that is APB, and other one is the larger or the major arc AQB. So minor arc is APB and major arc is AQB, with AOB as the central angle. Okay, now the central angle is important because that is how we will find the measure of the arc APB. Okay, so let's see that. Measure of an arc. The first important point is measure of a minor arc is equal to the measure of its corresponding central angle. Now in this particular figure 3.30, here if you observe, the measure of angle AOB is theta and the arc intercepted by it is APB. Okay, so measure of this minor arc APB is equal to measure angle AOB, which is the central angle. That means measure of arc APB is equal to theta. Okay, now once if you find APB, or if you get the measure of APB, the measure of AQB, it's easy to find, since you know that full measure of a full circle is 360 degrees. Okay, measure of this full circle is 360 degrees, and this small piece of it, that is APB, is theta degrees. Then AQB will be 360 minus APB. So from 360, if you reduce the measure of this much part, then you get the measure of the major arc. Okay, so measure of major arc is 360 degrees minus measure of corresponding minor arc. Okay, so in the figure 3.30, measure of major arc AQB is equal to 360 degree minus measure of arc APB, that means 360 degree minus theta. Okay, since APB is theta. Next, measure of a semicircular arc, that is of a semicircle, is 180 degree. Semicircle means if you draw a diameter of the circle, it is dividing the circle into two equal parts and they are called as semicircle or half circle. Okay, so half circle's measure is same as 180 degrees. Next, measure of a complete circle is 360 degrees. Okay, so these are the facts that we should know. First thing, how do we define measure of an arc? So whenever you have an arc, its measure, minor arc, its measure is same as the corresponding central angle, and for the major arc you just need to subtract the measure of minor arc from 360 degrees. Next, a semicircular arc or a semicircle is of measure 180 degrees, and measure of complete circle or full circle is 360 degrees. Okay, so all these facts we will be using in the problems. Okay, now let's see an activity through which we will get a better understanding of when can we call two arcs to be congruent. Okay, so here draw two circles with center C as shown in the figure. Draw angle DCE, FCG of the same measure and angle ICG of different measure. Arms of angle DCE intersect inner circle at A and B. Do you notice that the measures of arcs AB and DE are the same? Do they coincide? No, definitely not. Now why they have asked us to observe that AB. So if you see this, AB and DE, that means this AB and DE. Now if you see, they have drawn two circles both with same center, so they are concentric circles. That means more than one circle with same center. Okay, more than two circles or two or more circles with same center can be called as concentric circles. So from keeping the same center and with different radii, they have drawn two circles. And here if you see, for this particular arc AB, ACB is the central angle. So measure of arc AB is equal to central angle ACB, that is equal to 70 degrees. Now if you consider the particular arc DE, then measure of this arc DE is equal to its corresponding central angle, which is again 70 degrees. That means this arc AB and arc DE are of the same measure, which is 70 degrees. Okay. Next question is, do they coincide? Now if you see this AB and DE, can they coincide? That means if you keep DE over AB or AB over DE, are they of equal length, or will they coincide? No, because if you see, though the measure of both the arcs are equal, but AB is smaller and DE is larger in size. Okay, that is because they are arcs of same measure for different circles, because both the circle is having different radius, and for that reason this AB is looking smaller than DE, though their center is same and the central angle is equal. But since the two circles are of different radius, this AB and DE are not looking congruent. Okay, now cut and separate the sectors CDE, CFG and CIJ. That means CDE, this particular sector, then CFG, this full sector, and CIJ. Check whether the arc DE, arc FG and arc IJ coincide with each other. So here if you observe, this particular arc IJ is of measure 40 degrees, GF is also 70 degrees and DE is also 70 degrees, and both the arcs are pieces of same circle, that is the outer circle. So this DE and GF are congruent since they are two arcs with same measure and they are pieces of same circle also. So same circle is not the fact. Actually with same measure we want its radius to be equal so that the arcs are congruent. Okay. Now here, since this arc AB and DE, they are of equal measure, but the radii is different, and that is why they differ in size. But if you have with measure, the radii is also equal, then the two arcs can be called as congruent. That means this particular arc DE is congruent to arc GF or arc FG. Okay. So, did you notice that equality of measures of two arcs is not enough to make the two arcs congruent? Yes. So, measures are equal is fine, but we need one more necessary condition so that we can say the two arcs are congruent. So, if for the two arcs to be congruent, there should be two arcs of equal measure and equal radii, or we can say there should be two arcs of equal measure of the same circle. So, of same circle means the radius has to be equal, correct? So, from the previous activity, we can conclude that the two arcs are congruent if their measures and radii are equal. So, with the measures, the arcs should have equal radii also. Okay, either they are on the same circle or different circles. The radius also should be same. Then only we can call the two arcs to be congruent. Okay. Now let's learn property of sum of measures of arcs. Okay, so if you see this particular figure 3.32, here there are 5 points lying on the circle A, B, C, D and E, all lies on the circle, and hence they are concyclic. Okay, now with these points many arcs are formed. Now this AB is formed, BC is formed, CD, DE, CDE, ABC, AED, ADC. So many arcs are formed. Okay, now there is one and only one common point C to arc ABC and arc CDE. So here if you see this arc ABC and arc CDE, C is the common point. C is a single common point to both the arcs, correct? Now whenever we have such a situation, then we can add up these arcs. That means measure of arc ABC plus measure of arc CDE will give me measure of arc ACE. Okay, so exactly when two arcs, adjacent arcs, are having one single common point, you can add the left arc with the right arc, and hence you get the arc measure of the bigger arc. Okay, formed, joined arc formed. Okay, but arc ABC and arc BC have many points in common. So if you see arc ABC and arc BCE, so this BC part, that is this arc BC or this piece, particular piece, is common to arc ABC also and arc BCE also. Okay, so this part is common. That's why we cannot add the measures of ABC plus BCE and tell that it is measure of the arc ACE. Okay, since there are more than one common point, here we cannot directly add or subtract. Okay. Okay guys, that's all for today. So if you like the video, please share it with your friends and please subscribe to the Friendtor channel, and you can also post your queries on Instagram. And if you have any doubts regarding the lectures, do write in the comment section. We will respond as soon as possible. Okay, so see you soon with the theorem of corresponding chords of congruent arcs. Stay tuned.